Hey everybody, Miss Haas here, getting ready for my Andy Goldsworthy inspired sculpture. I'm gonna head out with, I've got my mask just in case. I've got a bag. Where's my bag? Got my bag. There's my bag. And I got my pup. He's gonna come with me. So let's see how we do. See you in a little bit. Bye. Ready? Let's go. How about that stick, Ozzy? Should we get that stick? Should we use that stick for the sculpture? Or this one? Maybe this one. Get that one. Get that stick. No? Which one? You like that one? Okay, let's go. Okay, we made it down to the water. Ozzy, what do you think? Oh, he's gonna go over the geese. Ah! Don't put me on the floor. All right, so we're gonna head down to the sand there and see if we could find anything good down there that's not like all stinky. What do you think, Ozzy? What do you got? Anything good? Goose poop. Nope, I can't put goose poop in my sculpture. All right, here's a bunch of dried up seagrass. This might be interesting. They're straight, like lines, right? The first element of art, line. So I'm gonna grab a few of these and I'm gonna do that. I got my handy dandy glove on. We made it down to the beach. Ozzy found a big stick. Actually, that looks like a piece of like dried up bamboo. I don't think I'm gonna use that, but Ozzy wants to use it in his. Everything's pretty wet. I guess I could grab some stones, but the shells, the shells are kind of stinky. I don't know if I want to do shells. I don't know, we'll see. Ozzy's more interested in chasing the geese into the water. So, hold on, Ozzy, wait for me. Sounds great out here, doesn't it? It's really peaceful and beautiful. So what I'm noticing out here, what's really cool is if you look at the top of the sand bar, it's low tide right now. Look at that beautiful line it makes as it goes down. A nice sloping line, and then it curves back and then it comes towards me. It's like a leading line right to Ozzy chewing on another stick. But check it out, look at that beautiful wavy line. Now, if I had the time, if I was Andy Goldsworthy, I'd probably make a sculpture right here on the edge of this sandbar. And then as the water came in, it would change it and I would document it. But unfortunately, I don't have that kind of time on my hands. And when I think about the design principle emphasis, I'd probably want to emphasize that beautiful curve I see. And if you look really closely, you can see that the water is also following that. So there's a repetition of that line happening with a number of things. Let's take a closer look. Okay, so I'm closer up. This is the edge of that line. There it is, going out to the water. And what's happening is the tide is going out, so the water's moving in that direction. But if you take a really close look, everything's following the edge of this little sand bank. Take a look at, first start at the sand bank, then the water that's closest to it, and then the sand gets a little bit higher, and then all the stones are following in that direction as well. And then even that stick is pointing that way. And then look at the debris, which I learned at Greenkill is called detritus, all this little stuff that's broken up See how it's following the same line. Everything's going in that same direction to the end. And you see that little tip of the sandbar down there? Eventually that is going to turn into another shape from the water hitting it. And I actually have a photo of that. It actually turned into a really pretty curve. Wow, check these out. Okay, so here's a whole bunch of those clams standing up in the sand. And if Ozzy lets me, I'm gonna try to get down low here and get like more of like an ant's view of all those. Stop it, Ozzy. So there's those shells standing straight up. Let's get a view from down here. That's pretty cool. They just naturally end up like that. Awesome. Check out the texture created from the wind and the water on the sand. It's pretty amazing. The repetition of the same idea over and over again. It's very pleasing to look at. And then we have more lines created from the water. Look at that, that's just gorgeous. I think I want to take a snapshot of that one. That's a good one. All kinds of leading lines cutting through the frame. It's a gorgeous day. Okay, time to head back and see what we have found. Hey everyone, it's about 6 hours later and I'm gonna empty out my bag and see what I have. The stuff I picked up. This is some of the big branches that Ozzy picked up. I also got, like, I picked up garbage along the way when I was on the beach, so we don't need that. I'm gonna put that to the side. I'm gonna put my glove on so I can pull this stuff out. Okay, I got these sticks. Remember these sticks? And I feel like I just want to kind of dump this, but there's a lot of garbage in here too. I'm just going to dump it out and see what happens. Okay, let's see what we got. Hopefully I don't break any of the shells. Okay, you can see that I've categorized my items so I can analyze them. It's kind of like being a little bit of a scientist. I'm also going to think about the stone that this is on. I can see that there's like texture on here, and from where I'm sitting, it's going vertical. And I need to decide if I want to emphasize that. So what does emphasis mean? It means to make it stand out. So I have these reeds that are kind of like lines that can emphasize that, going in that direction. So that's one idea. I move these shells over. I can see there's other texture underneath. I'm going to clear this out a little bit, make a workspace. More texture here, some lines. The seaweed. Can't really see the seaweed on the stone, so I kind of need a backdrop. So I think if I want to use this, I got to put it over the white of the shells. So that's an interesting idea. Really love this crooked branch, and I really love how the light is shining on it right now. It's creating this really nice strong shadow. And I think that I'm going to use this. It actually picks up this line here, and wraps around. I'm going to move it over. I think the framing on camera is a little bit right there. Okay, so I have all this great texture, this dot, and I'm just going to keep looking at all my materials to see if there's anything I can emphasize. I notice that this is curved and my shells are curved, so I can replicate that. And I don't know if you can see that from the perspective of the camera that's there, but when I photograph it, I'll make sure I can see it. So I can kind of reinforce that curve with these shells. I also have these stones that also have a rounded edge that can reinforce this here. It's interesting. That shape is there. So I'm just going to play around with this, and we'll see what happens. So one of the things I saw when I was down at the water was when that line of the water was creating repetition, and at the end of the sandbar, it made like a shape at the end, and this kind of swirl reminds me of that. It actually made this kind of swirl at the end. So maybe this is kind of like the river that's coming down, and at the end is that peninsula. Kind of like the white against. Okay, I really like how these get smaller and smaller as they go away. Repetition of that is really pleasing to look at. I wonder if I can move them a little further apart. So I was inspired by the landmass this morning that I had videotaped, how the water, as it was rushing out to the bay, was creating that sandbar, and this stick reminded me of that curve. And then I kind of emulated that same curve, emphasizing it, which means making it stand out, by following the same curve with the shells. You can notice also that I took the time to put my shells in size order, going from large in the middle to smaller this way, with all of the scallop shells. I think those are scallops, not sure. Maybe they're oysters. I think they're oyster shells. And then this way, which is the steam clams. And then I use the reeds to fill in the negative space. And I like how this is stopped short. I didn't cut those, but I think I'm just going to cut those off in the frame when I photograph it, so you won't see it. And that's it. Here's my Andy Goldsworthy inspired sculpture. I'm going to clear off the stone.